Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today's topic is on aging well starts in your gut, a topic that's very important as we age, which is our gut health. I hope that by the end of today's session, you'll be walking away with some practical tips that you can implement right away to improve your gut health at home. Let's first do a little check-in. How many of you have noticed that your gut doesn't behave the way it used to? Maybe you're feeling a little bit more bloated after meals, or you're finding that certain foods don't sit right in your stomach, or you're having trouble sleeping, dealing with some indigestion, especially at night, feeling sick more often, feeling tired or run down. All of this might have to do with your gut and your gut health, and you're certainly not alone. These are really common experience as we get older, our body change, our digestion change, our gut bacteria change, and even how our body handles stress and sleep can shift. And it has a lot to do with the changes that are happening within our digestive system. Today, I am speaking in collaboration with the Canadian Digestive Health Foundation, and this event was made possible with the funding from the New Horizons for Seniors program. The content in this presentation is meant to be educational purposes, is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure any disease, and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Before we dive in, let's talk about what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn about how digestion and nutrient absorption change with age, recognize some common digestion symptoms in older adults, and understand when to seek medical advice. I want to share some nutrition strategies to support gut health that you can implement right away. We're going to share a lot of simple, balanced meals and snacks that will help improve digestion and overall well-being. And last but not least, helping you adopt lifestyle habits that will promote better digestion, energy, and healthy aging. My name is Amy Chow. I am a registered dietitian based in BC. I have been in private practice for the past 10 years and have been a practicing dietitian for 13 years. I've worked in long-term care, community centers, HealthLink BC, and currently my work is in private practice, and I work with people dealing with food allergies, intolerance, eating disorder, as well as pediatric and family nutrition. Many of my clients deal with digestive symptoms and gut health a lot. So I'm really happy to be here speaking about this topic. I'm also the founder of BC Dietitians, which is a platform to connect you with dietitians across BC, helping you find the right professional and get professional nutrition advice from a dietitian in our province. Digestive symptoms are very common, and chances are that you or someone you know has experienced some of these digestive issues. Two-thirds of Canadians are actually affected by a digestive disorder. That includes anything from reflux or heartburn, constipation, bloating, to more serious condition like Crohn's or colitis. And Canada has one of the highest rates for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and inflammatory bowel disease worldwide. People who are dealing with digestive symptoms also experience high rates of anxiety and depression. And understandably, they become fearful of what they're eating and how the food's going to affect them. So, as a dietitian, we work with people to get clarity on the foods that they can tolerate and help decrease some of the anxiety around food, especially. Over 5 million Canadians experience heartburn or reflux on a weekly basis, and proton pump inhibitor, acid are one of the highest prescribed drugs in the world. So a lot of people are using medication to treat heartburn, and this is a very common condition that people are dealing with, especially as they get older. How does digestion change with age? Over the years, their diet, your age, stress, illnesses, infections, exercise, medication, all those factors can affect your gut and your gut microbiome. And specifically, as we get older, some of the digestion pieces that we see changing, such as food moving through our gut more slowly because our digestive muscles don't contract as efficiently. And these can lead to bloating and constipation, which are some of the more common concerns from older adults. We make less stomach acid and fewer enzymes as we get older, which affects how we digest protein and things like lactose and absorb nutrients like vitamin B12 and calcium, which needs acid to be absorbed and break down. If you're taking antacid or acid reducing medication, this can even make this condition worse. You might notice the effect worse because of the lower acid in your stomach. Constipation often shows up as well because of the slower digestion that we mentioned, less fiber in the diet overall, not drinking enough fluids, or taking certain medication and their side effects. Most medication, from painkillers to blood pressure medication, can affect your digestion and cause some of the symptoms. It's part of the side effects. And then we have our change in gut microbiome. So our gut microorganism change with age. We tend to lose some of the diversity that supports digestion and immunity. Last but not least, as we get older, we might have some difficulty chewing or swallowing certain foods. And this can limit your food choices, which might lead to less fiber intake, leading to constipation, nutrient gaps, and changes in your gut microbiome. When we think about gut health, we typically think about digestion, but the gut health plays a more important role than that. And this is because the gut health influences almost every system in the body. It's called our second brain. It's linked to our immune system, our energy level, even our mood and brain function. And this is because everything needs to be passed through our guts before they become available to us, including our macronutrients, carbohydrate, protein, fat, micronutrients, our vitamins and minerals, water, electrolytes. Most of the medication and supplements are processed through our guts before they become available to us. The good news is there is so much we can do to support our gut health through small practical changes in what we eat, how we eat, even how we live day to day can affect your gut health. We'll be sharing 5 key steps to improving gut health that you can implement at home. Before we share the practical tips, we want to review how digestion works. So even before we eat the food, from the moment we start thinking about the food, anticipating the food, smelling the food, cooking the food, our bodies start producing more saliva and digestive enzyme. So digestion really starts by thinking about the food before we even put it in our mouth. And then when we put it in the mouth, we start chewing the food, and chewing the food breaks the food down into smaller pieces and mixing it with the saliva, breaking down some of the starches. Once we swallow it, our muscles in our esophagus move the food down to the stomach in a wave-like motion called peristalsis. And this motion is important because later in life, it can slow down and leading to that full or sluggish feeling after eating. In the stomach, food mixes with acid and enzymes that starts breaking down protein. And as we get older, our stomach might make less acid, as we mentioned, and fewer digestive enzyme. That can mean slower digestion, more bloating, and sometimes less efficient absorption of nutrients like vitamin B12, iron, calcium. Then food passes to our small intestine through that motion where most nutrients are absorbed. Our pancreas adds enzyme and our liver adds bile to help digest fats. If these organs aren't working as efficiently, which can happen with age or certain medication, we might experience indigestion and changes in our bowel movement as well. Finally, the food passes through to our large intestine, which absorb a lot of the water and form our stool. This is also the place for trillions of our gut microorganisms called the gut microbiome, where they ferment the leftover, especially fiber, producing uh, beneficial compounds that protect our gut lining and help lower inflammation in our body. So as you can see, digestion happens from the beginning to the end, and there are lots of places we can try to help improve digestion, such as chewing, for example. This is something you can do more consciously, is by chewing your food a bit more before you swallow them, breaking down actively a bit more before you swallow the food. Especially if you're noticing that you're feeling bloated or food is passing more slowly, you can actively slow down your eating to try to help break down more of the food before you swallow them. So as we go through the presentation, you can think about what are some strategies that make sense for you that you can implement to help with your digestion. You might wonder what exactly is a healthy gut. The interesting thing is that there's no one definition for a healthy gut, and this is because every gut is unique. They're as unique as our fingerprint. Each person's gut microbiome, the trillions of microorganisms in our large intestine, is shaped by our genetics, our diet, our lifestyle, environment, the experiences we have been through, medication that we have been taking, supplements. What's healthy for one person's gut might look very different for someone else. But there are three things that we aim for a healthy gut microbiome, which is number one, diverse. A healthy gut tends to have a diverse mix of microorganisms. The more species we have, the more resilient our gut is. Think of it like our garden. When you have a lot of different plants, it's better able to thrive and resist weeds. The diversity of our microbiome is important because different microbiome have different functions and resilience. When we get sick or stress or changes in our diet, it can bounce back. Second piece we look at is balance. It's not necessarily about having more bacteria in our gut or more microorganisms. It's about having the right balance. Good bacteria helps digest food, produce vitamins, and protects us from harmful substances. When the balance is off from stress or being sick or taking antibiotics, we might notice more bloating, fatigue, or changes in our bowel movement. And last but not least, we want our gut to be stable, meaning that it can bounce back after some disruption, which will happen in life, such as being sick, dietary changes, going on to vacation or different places. This resilience helps protect us over time and keep our digestion and immune function running smoothly. One of the best tools that we already have for supporting gut health is the Canada's Food Guide. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. And before we dive into the individual food groups, we want to emphasize that you see a lot of variety in colors on this plate. And we want to emphasize this variety because the more different foods you can eat, that helps feed the different types of bacteria in your gut. So following Canada's Food Guide, you can add lots of different colors in each different food groups to be able to get that variety, get that diversity in your diet, and that will help your microbiome become more diverse. It's also a really good strategy to be able to get all the vitamins and minerals that you need when you eat a variety of foods because different foods have different combinations of vitamins and minerals. So when we are combining a variety of foods, then we're not so worried about getting each micronutrient, having to calculate all the numbers. We know that we're more likely to get all the vitamins and minerals that our body need. But if you are eating the same food over and over again, then that will decrease the variety in your diet, and that might mean that you're lacking in some nutrition that you're not getting from other foods. So, variety doesn't mean that you have to be eating a different meal every day. It can be trying a new food every time you're going grocery shopping, switching up your food or vegetable or your grain or your protein, just to add a bit more variety into your diet so that you can make sure that you're not eating the same food over and over again. Diving into the specific food group, first we have our carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is really important for gut health because they are one of the major sources of fiber in our diet. Carbs often get a bad rap, but rather than avoiding carbs, we want to think about what kind of carbs we're eating. The right kind of carbs fuel our body. They also keep our gut bacteria, digestion, and overall health thriving. The beneficial gut bacteria in our large intestine feed on fiber and our natural plant starches. Sometimes they're called prebiotics. So they feed on these leftover materials from eating carbohydrate foods that help keep them growing and produce compounds that keep our gut healthy. These healthy carbs keep our digestion running smooth by moving things along so that we can help prevent constipation, which is the fiber. And then also, when the good bacteria are well fed, they help strengthen the gut lining, the gut barrier, our body's natural defense to keep harmful substances out and nutrients in. A strong gut bacteria, a strong gut barrier helps lower inflammation and supports our immune system. For carbohydrate foods, we recommend focusing on whole, fiber-rich, and prebiotic carbohydrates while minimizing processed carbs and added sugar. Processed carbs and added sugar can feed the less helpful bacteria and throw off your gut bacteria balance. This is an interesting graphic just to show how important fiber is in our body. The DF representing fiber. So when we eat fiber, it travels down to the large intestine where our gut bacteria ferments it. It's kind of like composting in a garden. It uses the leftover material and creates something useful and something that can feed the gut bacteria. This process in turns create helpful compounds called the short chain fatty acids, or known as the SCFA here. These short chain fatty acids help lower inflammation, helps repair our gut lining, and keep our gut barrier strong. Fiber is also linked to a lower risk for intestinal diseases, colon cancer, diabetes, and even obesity. It helps improve our blood sugar control, supports insulin sensitivity, and helps us feel fuller longer. Fiber doesn't just move things along, it actually works on multiple levels by feeding our gut, protecting our intestine, and supporting our long-term health. So every time you're adding in a fiber-rich foods like oats, beans, fruits, and vegetables, you're nourishing your gut bacteria and protecting your body in the process. How much fiber do we need in a day? Most Canadians don't get enough fiber, especially as we get older. For good gut health, we do emphasize adults over 50, aiming for about 21 grams of fiber for women and 30 grams of fiber for men. A good, helpful, easy to remember number is about 8 to 10 grams of fiber per meal. And you can look at the nutrition labels and estimate how much fiber you're getting in each meal. There are many foods that will give you fiber, including the prebiotic fiber that are found in some of the fruits and vegetables, whole grains, things like onion, garlic, leeks as well. So we want to opt for a variety here, uh, including getting fiber from whole grains, fruits and vegetables, legumes, which is your beans, lentils, chickpeas, nuts, and seeds. Again, they all have different compounds and components of not only fiber, but vitamins and minerals. So when we're getting variety, this supports us getting enough fiber while not feeling bored about eating the same food over and over again, but also supports us from getting other nutrients such as protein, omega-3, vitamins, minerals that each of these food products might have. So what does a serving look like? To give you an example, we have some whole grains listed here: barley, brown rice, buckwheat, for example. And each serving, about half a cup cooked, will give you about 2 to 3 grams of fiber. So you can use this information to plan your meals. You're not only getting fiber from the whole grains, but you're also going to be getting some fiber from your fruits and vegetables, your plant-based protein, which is your beans, lentils, chickpeas, and your nuts and seeds. So you can rotate through some of these whole grains or try them if you haven't tried them before. You can incorporate them in your recipes that you already know. So, for example, if you eat a lot of rice and you want to try out the quinoa, a good strategy is not to switch from rice to quinoa necessarily if you're not sure about the taste or how to cook them, but you can incorporate, for example, a quarter cup of quinoa to 3/4 cups of rice to start incorporating it in the foods that you're familiar with. So that way you and your family will be able to taste it in small amount, make sure your body is tolerating it, and also just getting familiar with adding some of these foods in small amounts before you increase the amount that you're going to add into your diet. A good goal is to try to make half of your grain products whole grains every day. That way, you'll be able to get enough fiber throughout the day. And as a reminder, trying to cut back on foods that are not as helpful, including added sugar, ultra-processed snacks, and simple carbs that is not going to provide your body with fiber. Fruits and vegetables are also a big source of fiber in our diet, and they are some of the best foods we can eat in our diet. They're not only rich in fiber, they're also rich in water, natural plant compounds like antioxidants that will feed our bacteria in our guts, but also protect our body from inflammation and stress. So the fiber and prebiotics in fruits and vegetables will feed our gut microbiome and supports our digestion, move things along, maintain the gut barrier, reducing inflammation. So a lot of similar benefits when we look at the fruits and vegetables and the whole grain group. The fruits and vegetables are typically also lower in caloric content. So if you are watching your calories or how much you're eating, oftentimes we are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So this one would be good to look at. Are you filling half your plate with fruits and vegetables, or are you filling half your plate with other types of foods? We want to aim for at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day. That might seem like a lot, but if you also count the fruit as part of the fruits and vegetables, that for a lot of people is about 2 fruit serving and 3 vegetables a day as a minimum. Of course, there are more benefits if you can eat more fruits and vegetables in the day. But it general rule of thumb, if you're eating fruits and vegetables with every meal and snack, that's a really good start for a lot of people. And we want to aim for variety as well. So eating the rainbow, choosing different colors of fruits and vegetables will give you different nutrients to support the different types of gut bacteria, as well as getting the different kinds of vitamins and minerals. Take a guess here. What percentage of Canadians do you think aren't getting enough fruits and vegetables each day? Many of us. About 80% of Canadians actually don't meet the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. And this has actually been steadily declining over the years. And the top barriers that a lot of people were surveyed have quoted is that fruits and vegetables are, one, expensive. Secondly, they go bad. They're the first food to go bad in the fridge before they can get to them. And last but not least, habit. So if you're used to not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, then you might not be as aware or thinking about it. So it will take some effort to change that habit. Which of these barriers do you relate to the most? Is it cost? Is it the spoiling or wastage of the fruits and vegetables, knowing how to use them before they go bad? Or is it your habit? And if you can identify, which one you're struggling with, that can help you find some solution to tackle the barrier and get more fruits and vegetables in your diet. So for example, for costs, we can choose frozen fruits and vegetables as one of our staples. We always want to have a frozen fruit or vegetable at home so that on the days that you don't have fresh fruits produce in your fridge, you can opt in for the frozen option. They're also quicker to cook and prep. You don't have to wash them or chop them, and you can cook them in the last step of your cooking process. So they're really handy to add in more vegetables in your dish. Other cost-saving tools include knowing how to store the fruits and vegetables when you get them home so that you can prevent some of the wastage, so that you're using up the fruits and vegetables that you have bought to prevent wasting money. Trying different recipes for the fruits and vegetables that are going bad, such as soups or stews, cooking them up so that you can actually eat them instead of wasting them. If it's habit, trying to plan your meals out by focusing on the vegetables of the meal compared to thinking about, oftentimes people think about meat and protein as what they're going to eat for dinner. But I would challenge you to think about what vegetables you're putting on your plate for that meal. And if you struggle to get enough fruits and vegetables, adding in a piece of fruit with your meals is often a great idea because if you're not getting enough vegetables, then the piece of fruit can help you meet that half your plate recommendation at a meal. Moving on to protein. Protein is always the star of the show. We often think of protein for muscle and strength, but it is just as important for our gut health. Protein helps our body repair, protect, and keep our digestive system functioning properly. Our gut lining is made of rapidly renewing cells that needs protein as their building block to stay strong, such as glutamine, arginine, collagen. And by keeping the gut lining strong, that will again help keep harmful substance away and allow our nutrients to be absorbed more efficiently. Protein also maintain a good balance for our gut bacteria, especially plant-based protein such as beans, lentils, chickpeas, soybeans. They often not only provide protein, but provide a source of fiber as well, which feeds our good bacteria. About 70% of our immune system is located in the gut, so getting enough protein will help our gut produce immune cells and antibodies and enzymes and defend us from infections and illnesses. And last but not least, because protein is the building block for our enzymes, it helps support digestion. And by choosing a variety of protein, including animal and plant-based protein, that can help us get many of the nutrients that our body needs. We want to highlight some proteins that are especially helpful for gut health, including fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, offers the benefit of both protein and probiotics, helping you maintain a healthy gut bacteria balance. Plant-based protein, I mentioned about that these are your beans, lentils, chickpeas, nuts, and seeds. They will provide protein, but also provide a source of fiber. And then we have our omega-3 rich protein, which is like your fish, salmon, sardine, trout, tuna, chia seeds, ground flax seeds. They will provide you with a source of protein, but also beneficial omega-3 fats. Try to cut back on red and processed meat, including bacon, deli meat, sausages. The processed meat especially are very high in sodium, and along with the red meat, they are linked with higher inflammation and less diversity in our gut microbiome when they are eaten regularly. And what about protein supplements? Nowadays, you see a lot of products with added protein, including pro coffee, protein powders, protein bars, protein shakes, protein candies, protein chips. So these are foods are convenient, fun option, but they really shouldn't replace our real food and real source of protein from whole foods. These foods are still processed, and some of them might have added sugar, which aren't great for gut health. But if you use them to supplement your protein need because you have a hard time getting all of your protein from food, those can definitely be there to fill in your gap, but they shouldn't be your main source of protein. So try to fill your protein need with food first, and then you can consider some of these supplements if you are having a hard time meeting your protein need. But typically, by combining both animal and plant-based protein in your diet and the different variety of protein option, you are generally able to meet your protein needs. Oftentimes, as dietitians, clients ask us, how much protein do we need? And this answer is very individualized. It depends on your age, your weight, your activity level, and your nutrition goals. If you are building muscles, trying to lose weight, you might have a higher protein need. If you are older, you might have a higher protein need because you naturally will be losing muscles, especially after age 50, losing muscle and strength each year. So we want to be eating enough protein to maintain our muscle mass. A general rule of thumb is to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal and about 10 to 15 grams of protein per snack. This is, of course, a general guideline. What you need to aim for will be very individualized to you. How much protein you need in a day, how many meals you eat in a day, how many snacks you eat in a day. All those are going to be factors about how much protein you need to aim for each time. But I think it's important to remember that you can't build muscles without exercise. So protein is best combined with resistance training, weight training for best results in order to maintain our muscle mass and build our muscle mass. We quickly touch base about fermented foods, and you might be wondering if they are good for gut health. Fermented foods are foods that have gone through a change to make it desirable for us to eat. And a lot of the times bacteria or yeast are added to these products to break down sugars and starches. And the process changes how the food tastes, their texture, and their nutrition, oftentimes making it easier to digest and adding good bacteria in the final products to support gut health. According to the International Scientific Association for Probiotic and Prebiotics, only a few fermented foods have consistent evidence to show that they have health benefits for gut health. And these are your yogurt and your kefir. Other foods such as kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, natto, pickles, sourdough, they are still good to include because they have promising studies on them, but we do need a bit more evidence to fully say that they are beneficial for gut health. But these are really a good variety of fermented foods to still include in your diet. As for a popular drink like kombucha, most of the research has been done in animal or lab studies so far, and there's not too much evidence to show that there is a benefit, as well as there's not much standardization when it comes to how much good bacteria is in each kombucha product and how much good bacteria you're actually getting from drinking these foods. And in terms of alcohol, we know that any amount of alcohol can disrupt the balance of our gut bacteria and promote the growth of harmful bacteria. And so we do recommend avoiding or limiting it if you do drink alcohol, especially if you're dealing with digestive symptoms, because they are a stomach irritant. Moving on to fats. Healthy fats, especially omega-3 fats, helps reduce inflammation in our body and our gut and helps strengthen our gut bacteria. We want to focus on omega-3 fats coming from fish, such as salmon, sardine, tuna, trout, as well as plant-based omega-3 foods options, including chia seeds, ground flax seeds, nuts. Monounsaturated fats from olive oil, avocados, nuts, as well as the fiber-rich fats such as nuts and seeds, because they will give you the healthy fats as well as the fiber. We want to reduce excess omega-6 fats, which are coming from a lot of the processed foods, trans fat, saturated fat, mostly in animal products. So choosing leaner cuts of meat, limiting your highly processed foods can help reduce inflammation. And these are the top 5 micronutrients to consider, especially as you get older. Your body might be less efficient in absorbing some of these nutrients. So we want to be eating a variety of foods, as I mentioned, to try to get more of these different kinds of nutrients in our diet. But we also want to be proactive and checking these levels regularly in your annual checkup, especially if you have never checked these levels before. So just gonna go through some of the top micronutrients that we're trying to get in our diets. The first one being calcium. Calcium is important for our gut movement and our bone health, and can find them from dairy products, tofu, leafy green, canned fish, canned with the bones, salmon, sardines. Vitamin D helps lower inflammation and supports our immune health. It's pretty hard to get enough vitamin D from food. Our skin produce vitamin D when it's exposed to sunlight. Especially in the wintertime, we might not be getting enough sun. So it's typically recommended to supplement with vitamin D. Magnesium, for 50 plus, we need about 300 to 400 milligrams per day. This helps prevent constipation, relaxes muscle, Sometimes people take magnesium supplements to help with their sleep, to help calm their nervous system. You can find them in many food sources as well, including nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains. So lots of high fiber option, which will give you the fiber as well as the magnesium that can be helpful for gut health. And then we have zinc. Zinc helps our body heal and protects our gut lining. So they can be found in meat, seafood, lentils, pumpkin seeds, for example. And then we have our vitamin B12, which helps with energy level, nerve health, digestion, and they can be found in meat, fish, dairy products, eggs, fortified food such as nutritional yeast, cereals, plant-based beverages, which often have vitamin B12 added. As we get older, we have a lower stomach acid, and especially if you are on antacid medication, that can interfere with how your body absorbs, especially vitamin B12, which is why oftentimes B12 supplements may be recommended, but you definitely want to chat with your healthcare provider whether or not you need any supplements. Reading labels can be one of the easiest way to make more informed choices on the foods that you're choosing when it comes to supporting gut health and overall health. Let's break down what we're looking for. So first, we want to start with the serving size, especially when you're comparing between products. You want to be checking that you have the right serving size. You're comparing the nutrition facts based on the same serving size. You might find that in bread, for example, one nutrition facts label will say one slice of bread, and the other one might say per 2 slices of bread. So you really want to be doing some math and comparing it based on the same serving size so that you can be choosing the product that works for you. We have calories. Calories tells you how much energy you're getting from a serving of the food. They are definitely not the whole story. And what matters here is where the calories are coming from. Are they coming from nutrient-dense foods compared to highly processed foods? And we want to get less of these nutrients, including saturated fat, sodium, which is your salt, added sugar. These nutrients can increase inflammation and affect our gut microbiome when we eat them in excess, especially from processed food like snacks, sauces, baked goods. So limiting products that are high in these nutrients. And then we want to get more of these other nutrients, including fiber, vitamins, and minerals. So at the bottom here, you can see potassium, calcium, iron is listed in this example. It might have different vitamins and minerals listed here, but generally speaking, we want to get more of these vitamins and minerals in our products. You can use the percentage daily value as a quick and easy way to know that if the product is high or low in a certain nutrient. So general rule of thumb is that 5% or lower is low in that nutrient and 15% or more is high in that nutrient. So in this example, because we can see that sugar is 22%, so we know that this product, it has quite a lot of sugar. And applying same strategy to other nutrients, you can quickly tell at a glance that this product has a little bit of potassium. They have a little bit of calcium, but really low amount of calcium. And so that's a quick and easy way to tell if a product is high or low in a particular nutrient of concern. You might start to notice this new symbol on the front of packaged food in our grocery store as part of Health Canada's effort to make nutrition information easier to spot at a glance. This magnifying glass symbol highlights that food that are high in saturated fat, high in sugars, and high in sodium. It's meant to help us make quick and informed choices without having to look closely at the nutrition facts table. But you keep in mind that not all foods have this label in them. And so if you are choosing and comparing foods, you do oftentimes want to look at the nutrition facts table. But if they have this front of package nutrition symbol present, it is a signal to pause and compare between products to see if you can find a better option. Supplements can be helpful at times for gut health. They should complement a well-rounded diet and healthy diet, balanced diet. They should not ever replace food, right? So if you're not getting enough of these nutrients, it might be helpful to consider some of these supplements, but it's always a good idea to check with your healthcare provider first before starting anything new. So the first one we want to mention is probiotics. Probiotics are live bacteria that helps with digestion, bloating, and even mood. There are different probiotic strain and studies on different purposes. And oftentimes they are made from these two strain, lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strain. And you can consider probiotic if you are dealing with some digestive symptoms or you feel like you're not getting enough good bacteria probiotic from your food. But if you are considering a probiotic, a lot of the times clients will say that, oh, I don't feel any benefits by taking them. But when we take probiotic supplements, it's the consistency that matters. So you do want to try it for a period of time, take it regularly. I often suggest my clients to finish a course of the supplement, finish the whole bottle before deciding if you want to continue or not. If you only take it for a few days, you might not notice it helping at all. Probiotics can help improve gut health, help improve mood, reduce some inflammation markers, oxidative stress, but it really is person dependent whether or not they find benefit, but it can be helpful to try out. Next, we want to talk about peppermint. So peppermint oil or tea can help relax the muscles of our digestive tract. This can reduce cramps, bloating, pain, especially people with IBS. It has been shown to help relieve some digestive symptoms, but people with heartburn or reflux should take them cautiously because it can worsen their symptoms because of the mint in there. Ginger helps stimulate digestion and can help reduce nausea and stomach upset. It also can help move food along the stomach more smoothly. So it can help relieve that bloating and discomfort after meals. Ginger also has some anti-inflammatory effects, so it's a fairly good supplement or tea or spice to add into your foods to add in more anti-inflammatory spices into your diet. Then we have fiber. As we mentioned, we want to get lots of fiber from our diets and from our food, but sometimes it's hard to get it from the diet alone, especially for people who might have digestive symptoms by eating too much fiber, or they feel like they're not tolerating a lot of these foods. This is where fiber supplements can be helpful, especially for conditions like constipation, IBS, or if you have a low appetite and you're not eating enough and getting enough fiber. The key here is really to start with a small dose. So small dose that you can tolerate and building it up gradually so that your body gets used to it. You're taking time to increase the fiber because if you go from 0 to 10, it can cause more bloating and gas and more digestive symptoms. So you definitely want to give your body time to adjust. And always take fiber supplements with plenty of water, making sure that you're drinking enough fluids to help your body process that fiber. Now that we've covered some foods and supplements to support gut health, let's zoom out and take a look at some of the lifestyle habits that can help. First one is hydration. Water is one of the simplest and most often overlooked ways to support your gut health. Water keeps our digestion running smoothly from start to finish. It helps us break down the food so that your body can absorb the nutrients, help soften our stools, and oftentimes maintain the mucosal lining in our gut. Supports our gut microbiome balance, reduce bloating and gas, and help our body flush out waste. And oftentimes we might not be drinking enough water if we're not proactively drinking fluids throughout the day. So many of our clients will only drink water when they feel thirsty. However, especially as we get older, our sense of thirst become less reliable. So we don't feel thirsty as often until you're really, really dehydrated. So rather than waiting until you're thirsty, try to have a go water bottle that you carry around to aim to finish regularly throughout the day with your meals, your medication, your supplements, so that you can stay properly hydrated. And when we talk about healthy eating, it's easy to just focus on food, but how we eat, when we eat, and even why we eat can just be as important for gut health. Eating in a calm environment, like being more mindful about eating. We've talked about this in the beginning, like slowing down, chewing your food more without rushing can help your body shift into that rest and digest mode. Paying attention to your food, not doing something else while you're eating can help improve digestion, reduce bloating, and help you recognize your body cues. Our digestive system also follow a circadian rhythm, which is more active during the day and slows down at night. So we want to try to match our eating based on that rhythm. Eating more adequately during the day and might be a little bit lighter at night. And aiming to finish your meals 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your gut time to rest and digest before you go to bed. Keeping a regular eating pattern can be also very helpful. So eating around the same time every day helps your body anticipate meals and helps regulate digestive hormones. When you're eating irregularly or often skipping meals, that can worsen some of the digestive symptoms like bloating, constipation, affect your blood sugar, which can all stress your gut out. But, regular physical activity has also been shown to increase the diversity of our gut bacteria. Movements, especially after eating, can help us digest the food. It helps also reduce our stress level, which in turn reduce our inflammation, helps our body produce more of the good compound, the short chain fatty acid, helps support our healthy weight and metabolism. We want to aim for at least 30 minutes of movement most days, whether it is a gentle walk around the neighborhood or in your community center, dancing, swimming, or any activity that you enjoy, gardening, especially in the summertime, springtime. Those can be really good movements to incorporate to help with digestion and gut health. I wanted to share some meals that can help support gut health as some ideas for you to consider. And we use this simple formula to make sure that every meal supports gut health. We will include the Canada's Food Guide Balance, which includes protein, fiber-rich carbs, a healthy fat, and a fermented or prebiotic boost for our gut health. So what does that look like? For breakfast, it might look like a Greek yogurt parfait with nuts and berries. So we have our probiotic foods from our Greek yogurt, as well as the protein. We have a granola mix, which provide us with fiber, omega-3, and some protein. We have our fruits from the berries, and then we have some nuts, which again provides us with healthy fat, protein, and fiber. For lunch, something like a grilled chicken sandwich. So the lean protein to get enough protein for that meal. Whole grain bread, which will provide your body with fiber. Don't forget your vegetables. So here we have some raw bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes for antioxidant fiber. And feta cheese in your sandwich for some probiotics, some healthy fats, including olive oil and salad dressing, to incorporate some healthy fats in your meal. For snack, we have hard-boiled eggs, hummus, and veggie sticks. So for protein, we have our eggs and hummus. The hummus will also provide some fiber and prebiotics. And the vegetables, we have carrots, cucumbers, bell peppers for fiber, antioxidants, and lots of color. For dinner, we have baked tofu sheet pan with beets and asparagus on brown rice. So the tofu, plant-based protein for some fiber, omega-3 fats. We have our brown rice for some fiber and resistant starch when it's cooled down. As well, for leftovers, we have vegetables, which is beets, asparagus for fiber, prebiotics, side of fermented sauerkraut for fermented foods, probiotics. I can top it up with some herbs, fresh herbs like cilantro, parsley for extra fiber and antioxidants. After all this information, it can feel like a lot, but gut health and healthy eating really doesn't have to be complicated. The best results comes from small, realistic changes that you can actually stick with. So think about through this presentation, what sticks with you. Maybe it is to start eating earlier so that you're matching your eating with your circadian rhythm, eating breakfast, adding in an afternoon snack so that you're not feeling so hungry at the end of the night, adding in fruits and vegetables to meet your fruits and vegetables recommendation, adding in probiotics or prebiotic food for your gut health, going for a 10-minute walk after you eat to help with your digestion, and taking your supplements if that is something that you find helpful for you. As dietitians, our goal is to help you take everything we've talked about and make it work for you specifically, your family, your body, your lifestyle, and your goals. So if you are needing additional advice and help, you can connect with a dietitian at bcdietitians.ca if you are in the province of BC, or visit cdhf.ca for more gut health information. As we wrap up, I want to remind you that a healthy gut is the foundation of healthy aging. When your digestion is working well, your energy improves, you're feeling better every day, you're feeling less anxious about the food that you're eating, and it makes it easier to enjoy food and nourish your body. So it's never too late to make small changes, eat a little bit more variety, add a little bit more color into your plate. Even drinking a little bit more water can be some of the small changes that will make a big impact in your life. Thank you for being here today and investing your time with me. I hope that you are able to walk away with one or two practical things that you can implement right away to support your gut health.